Good Thursday, everyone. Yes, Thursday, not Wednesday, because that's right. Tracy has got the computer fixed. Believe it or not, she has one job. One job. We had here we got a famous person on the thing, and she left him sitting there. Poor Kris has been sitting there for a whole day just waiting to talk to us.
It was a long night.
It was a long night. He's had about 2 cartons. He's chirpy. He's ready for a big chat. He's been sitting there. Anyway, guys, here it is, Thursday night, 7:30. And how everyone? How is the boss? How's Andrew? How you going, mate? What have you been up to this week?
This week?
Yes.
Working and not a lot of sleeping, unfortunately, but got some rest last night and feeling pretty good for it, to be honest with you. So that's all I've been doing. My life's pretty boring. What about everybody else?
Trace, hostess, what have you been up to?
So this week I've actually been working with the New Zealand Fishing Council. So we're on board with those guys. We're going to be doing the big nationals event over there, which is the whole of New Zealand. So it's really, really exciting. New event. It is bigger and crazier in the point system than even our Exmouth GameX ones that we've done. There is probably around about 1,100 people, 500 teams or so. So that's what I've been working on. I've also been working with you, Motty, on the YouTube as well. So we can officially announce that we now have a Smack YouTube, and we've also got a new Matthew Mott sports fishing YouTube. So unfortunately, we can't work out how to get rid of the old one, but
can't work out how to put it on.
We're not sure how to get rid of it because someone doesn't know his passwords, but that's okay. So we've created a new one. So when you guys finish this, because obviously we want you to jump on and to watch us the whole way through, but once you're finished, jump onto the Smack YouTube page and also the Matthew Mott Sports Fishing. So the reason we've done this is because Motty gets a lot of people asking, about videos that he's done in the past, and it gets fed up through the news feeds of Facebook. So we put all the data and all the videos as much as we can up on YouTube for you guys to go and watch, and something else to go and do. But that's pretty much my week. Also,
a question. I've got a question.
Yeah.
Do the New Zealanders, do they have teams? Is that so someone can hold the sheep down as they measure it? How does that work?
No. But you can switch teams.
That's what I want to know. How do they hold? So one holds the head, the other one holds the tuck. Well, you know what happens after that.
Yeah.
Do they have to send in videos of that stuff, or is it just on a brag mat?
Wow, the New Zealanders are so much nicer to me as a client than you, Motty. So much nicer. Anyway, we've got a fourth window, so let's move on from me and talk about our fourth window.
Mr. Kris George, mate, how are you and what have you been up to, mate? Well, things are crazy the last few weeks, so a lot going on in your world.
Yeah, a bit different. Shop's pretty quiet, mate. We've got fishing bits there, and there's not a lot of people walking through the front door. We're still open. We're open 10 till 2. Just do that little window. Been really hammering me online. I think I was pretty lucky. We really put a lot of work into doing a new online website and going that way about a month before the COVID hit. So it was just the perfect time for us, really, as it can be, in the fact that we still have a little bit of a trading platform there, still doing a little bit. And then I've just sort of fallen back on the mechanic stuff, been pretty busy with that. Certain trades and certain things are still booming at the moment.
Yeah, so that whole online, you've had some awesome, that auction stuff that you do, that was really a great idea. I mean, I know a lot of guys in the industry were went, shit, man, I wish I would have thought of doing something like that, because that's been really good for you, hasn't it? It's got your big platform.
It has. It's been a bit tricky, even my website, all that stuff I sort of did on my own with very minimal knowledge of computers and stuff. We're just always just trial and error and stuff. I did different types of auctions and seeing what worked. The one we've done this week, and you might have seen it, it's on our website now. So you go on there and you bid on there. So it's going to run for 3 days this one. We've got all these different packs up there. We've got a Smack Ultimate pack, all these different packs. And they start at $10 and people can bid on there, dollar increments. And you can set proxy bids in and auto bids, all that stuff. So it's keeping me off it. They all do it. And then tomorrow we'll get on there, we'll do a few giveaways, we'll announce, some of the guys who got the packs and what they got them for, because people are getting good deals, some of the stuff's going for less than my price, but other stuff's going for good, so
Oh, mate, you got that much money, it doesn't make any difference anyway.
Well, you know at a tackle store how much money you have.
Exactly. That is 100% right. Anyway, without any further ado, guys, if you want to chuck on some comments, we're going to have a little bit of a chat with Kris first up, and the guys, or all the three of us, will talk to Kris about some stuff about his life, about what he's got to, how he's got to this stage. Chuck in some comments, you want some, and we'll get on to, after that, we'll get Kris to answer those questions. So if you've got any questions, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's auctions, whether it's tackle stuff, whether it's fish catches, whether it's knockout power, and you want to know how to, do it the right way, this is the man to ask, and we're very proud to have him on board. So, mate, let's start off. Mate, boxing. Boxing is what, I suppose, you've got the tackle shop and all that, but honestly, mate, when I first met you, it was the old Stessel days. You were a young kid and you were known as a bit of a go-getter then. You had a real name for yourself as boxing. So have you done boxing your whole life, really?
Yeah, about 11 started, and it was about when I started fishing comps. And so my coach, Craig, and Carl used to really nig at each other because I'd have a boxing thing on, but he'd want me to come fishing. So I was always torn between the two with fishing and boxing.
Yeah.
One time I went to the Stessel Bass Comp, I was leading, and I was going to win a boat, and I was meant to collect a Toowoomba's Best Sports Star of the Year award. Had to go there, had to cancel it because I'm like, I'm going to win this boat at Somerset.
Yeah.
So we go to the comp, and we're there, and I've got it in the bag. Last session, we're going to get back, and Carl catches a fish with like 30 seconds to go. We run in late. Steve Morgan said, you'll only get a little bit of a
disqualification, yeah.
They end up disqualifying the whole round. I lose by like 50 grams, come second, get like a tackle box. So I missed out on like
not a Plano one, I hope.
In the boat. I was always drawn between the two from about 10, 11 years old, just mad. I started fishing those bass comps as well as boxing at the same time, and just did them both my whole life, really.
So you got right into that.
Can I come in there, Matthew? Does
Yes.
that mean Carl Jockinson owes you a boat?
He does. I still to this day, he knows he owes me a boat.
Has it been upgraded since? Interesting stuff?
Yeah, he knows me a skeeter now. I'm waiting for it.
There you go.
He's going to get a bit more money.
Yeah, mate, he's got plenty over there. Hit him up now. He'll be able to send it over. The Aussie dollar's not real good. He'll make a killing.
Yeah.
Hey? He'll make an absolute fortune. Mate, so you did that, and then you sort of dropped off the fishing scene and then really got into your boxing there for a few years. And then obviously a lot of people might know, but you done an apprenticeship as a mechanic, which is something that people might know. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, basically, like, I boxed until about 15, 16. So I left school when I was 15 and I started that mechanic apprenticeship. Basically, from like 16 to 18, I just drank piss, partied. And
That's real, mate.
Yeah, everyone did it. I was working like 45-hour weeks. Did me trade, finished when I was 19. And yeah, I did a bit of boxing, but not much. Bit of fishing, but not much. Probably like once I bought the business, got me settled down a little bit more. But I also had a child at 17, another one at 20, and then bought a business at 20. And then all the pressure and all like the world, so much, I guess, responsibilities hit me. And it was actually like at the time it was hard, but probably the best thing that ever happened to me because since that, I put a lot of time into work, fishing, and then that's when my boxing career took off, or I decided, to take off with it because I didn't have that party lifestyle anymore. I was, I had children, a business, I had responsibilities. I had a formidable life where boxing fit in well. Then it was like, okay, let's do something and start training. So it settled me down a lot. Grew up with.
Well, talking about drink and piss and stuff, that was the only reason that you guys beat me in that comp because I was the one out partying all night. I remember missing the start at that one when we were still drinking at 5 a.m. But anyway, that's another time. Only thing was I was at 19, I was 39.
I'm on the next stage of my life heading back there now.
Yeah, I know what it's like. But yeah. So there you go. So what made you turn around honestly to buy that shop was sort of out of the blue. It sort of come out of nowhere. Here's Kris George buying, Fishing Bits was a pretty big name. Then we all understand what happened with, Dave passing away and his wife owning it and stuff like that. But what made you think about buying a tackle shop? That's something that, was sort of out of the blue.
Yeah, I guess it was from basically the fact of how much I hated my jobs. Like, I hated mechanic and like it was the worst. And then at the time I was actually tree lopping. I was doing tree lopping, like probably the hardest job I've ever done, physically. And I was pretty fit at the time, so I just cut logs all day, like just crazy work, and just looking for any excuse out. Had no money, but sort of just swindled some people to guarantor me and get the money, and we got it for the right price. I think they were getting pretty desperate.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
In hindsight, at the time, I thought it was a great price, but in hindsight, probably not. I don't know. I thought it was a great, because they started off, they had like $500,000 on it. I'm thinking, holy hell, And then when I got it for, I'm like, well, I've got it for a good price. But looking back, I know the stock level wasn't what they said it was. Looking back, I'm like, I know what the stock level was then. It wasn't good. And they had no electric motors, no fish finder accounts. Had nothing like that, no social media, they had nothing. I was just buying stock, basically. That the name wasn't that big at that stage. So I guess from there, just everything's fallen into place and just started to build it, I guess. But
so you started the tackle shop, and then you got into obviously doing a few of the ABT bass tournaments. You done a couple of those for a couple of years and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought I loved the comps, like hanging around Carl and Ash and Matty, like. Always go, but I'd always be like a non-boater and pre-fish with it. I was just there for the fun time. So I thought I was into like being a competitor in it, but I eventually realised I wasn't. It wasn't that big interest for me to do that. Fishing is always and still is just a passion, just a hobby for me. It's never something I wanted to pursue as a career or a sport or anything like that. It's always just been fun, basically.
And then, mate, after a few years, the bug came back. The fighting bug, you just couldn't get it out of your system, and it was that time to go hard.
Yeah, basically they started up in Toowoomba like a good fight show. They used to do them years ago. They started back, and I'm like, I want to go in this, because I knew I was good, but I never got the fame. And in the amateurs, you fought in a basketball arena, like 30, your family and 3 other blokes watching you. So it was never like a fame thing. I just fought. This is what I did, but. This was like 2,000 packed crowd. People were showing up, so wanted to go into it, and then just got a roll on. Like knocked a few out. Because obviously, when you turn professional, some of them guys have never had much experience. They just turn pro to get a payday or whatever. So if you've got an amateur background where you've won Australian titles and all these titles in amateurs, you're coming ahead of the game. So you jump in there and you start bowling a heap over and. Basically, the media, and you just get built up, and that's what keeps driving you to do it, basically.
Have you done those things, Kris? You'd won the Australian titles and all of that.
Yeah, in the amateurs, I won Australian title.
You blow over them like they're nothing. People don't get to those things trying all their life. You blow over them like
I guess it was so long ago, and then being an amateur, that amateur stuff, you just don't think of it anymore, really.
So what about then talking about the pros? And the training, and is it financially worthwhile doing it? Like for what you were doing, was it paying the bills?
Depends on your level of ability. Yeah, I had a pretty good run. Basically, I knocked this fella out who was this high and mighty guy, and I was meant to lose, and just knocked him out real bad, and it got me a shot. Like these guys who have the WBA, which is the World Boxing Association, they were watching. So I got a title shot at like a good title. And when you start getting them, it's like a 10 grand paycheck. And I won a couple. And then I got beaten. And when you get beaten, like, because your ego's so high when you're undefeated, like, just rattles you. And then I just, like, sort of fought a couple of nobodies for a bit. And I was about to give it away. Just, like, wasn't making no money at this stage. Probably costing me money. And then I got a call up to fight in New Zealand. It was main event pay-per-view. It was about 10 grand. It was against their golden boy who was meant to be like going all the way. He was a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, went to the Olympics, he went to the World Amateurs. He was like 10-0 as a professional. Anyway, I said, I'll go over there, give it my best go. If I lose, I'm out. I was at the stage where I'm like, I've had enough. It's now or never. Went over there, and it was the hardest fight of my life. Ended up knocking him out in front of like millions of viewers over main event pay-per-view worldwide. And then from that, it just like sparked you up again. You get that drive.
Yeah.
And then I got a shot at the Commonwealth title, which no Queenslander had won in 27 years, and only 4 Australians had ever won it. It's dominated by the UK. They're such, like, they've got a higher level of fighters.
Yeah.
So we're the first person to fight in Queensland for a Commonwealth title in 27 years. Got the fight against an Olympian, Cameron Hammond. He was like one of the finalists in the Olympics. He was 18-0 at the time, really sharp boxer, all this. But then I was just driven because I'm coming from nowhere thinking I'm not going to make it.
Nothing to lose.
Get this shot, yeah, and then that's what happened basically. I just outworked him, beat him, held the Commonwealth title. And when you got that title, the whole world opens up, and every day Brendan Smith would be ringing me, oh, there's a 20 grand fight in Greece, or there's one in Canada for this, and there's massive opportunities all over the place. Anyway, I was always chasing Jeff Horn. So I had this fight locked into the UK. It was like 30,000 US against a fellow named Gary Cochran.
Yeah.
They locked it in for the deadline of my title defence, which was like 6 months' time. And I'm like, bloody hell. So I had to wait 6 months for this fight. I wasn't allowed to look at any other fights, no other contracts, whatever. So I'm training. 2 weeks from my flight to the UK, they ring up, it's all off, cancelled it. I've just trained, I've trained since my last fight, it's been 8 months, hadn't fought. So just trained for nothing. They pulled out because they got another fight against another guy and they won, and then they end up, the winner of that guy I was meant to fight, end up fighting Jeff Horn, whose name was Gary Cochran.
Yeah.
And him and Horn had a close fight. It wasn't that, Horn was a bit, after his Pacquiao win, he didn't fight as good against that guy because he was a bit of a downward level for him.
Yeah.
It was perfect for me to jump in there, but it missed out. Anyway, after that, I just took the next fight that came, and it was a Sydney guy, Jack Brubaker. They offered me big money in Sydney at the Star Casino there. Went down, and by this time I'd broken my hands probably 6-7 times, always have trouble. Anyway, I was beating him early in the fight, broke my left hand, had just smashed the bone, so I'm one hand, the rest of it. I'm got to the 6th round. I'd won the first fight, but he was getting on top of me in the 6th. So I just had to go for the knockout. I've caught him right on the eye as hard as I could. His eye just exploded basically, just blood everywhere. He had 19 internals and 24 external stitches and surgery. His eye it fully exploded.
I watched that fight. It was a close fight though. I mean, he was starting to get him, but then early rounds you had him.
Yeah,
bit quicker than what he was.
And that the problem was that I just didn't fight well that night, and I knew mentally I was just getting almost had enough of boxing at that time. You ask anyone who was down there, I was I don't want to. I was nearly ready to pull out of the fight. Just didn't want to be there. Yeah. Anyway, it went on again. Started getting offers for overseas fights, but they're all dodgy. And I sort of got the shits with boxing a little bit at this stage, and I took on a guy named Josh Kelly, who's probably the biggest superstar in the UK. Just a crazy, stylish amateur fighter. And, the money was right. We got 50 grand for it in US. Plus you get a bit of sponsorship money and all that sort of stuff. So it was worthwhile. Eddie Hearn, it was main event, pay-per-view. We were the main card, 15,000 packed arena. It was unbelievable experience. Get there, Eddie hands me wads of cash of American dollars, just wads and wads. It was pretty cool. And yeah, but again, I felt he was probably picking me off, but I was in the fight and I was feeling I was going to get him later. But yeah, broke both my hands in that fight. I broke the first one in the round 3. I was just using the left, and then I broke the other one in round 6. I did one round with no hands, basically. He had no power, but he just got practice around to pull out of the fight and retire.
Yeah.
How do you fight with no hands?
Kick him in the head.
Hit him really softly, open-handed.
Oh, okay. Because I was is it like you can use your legs, or is it just straight on boxing? No?
Broken hands, no good.
No, broken hands. And obviously that's the injuries that sort of got that. And how many hours were you trying? I mean, you've got, as you said, you got a couple of kids, a young family, a business that's turning over pretty full on that you have to keep an eye on. And how many hours of training are you doing a day, honestly, for that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was fighting, all my fights were 12 by 3-minute rounds, they weren't short fights. It was endurance. So when you get to a certain fitness level, if I went for a 5K run and did half round the bag, I wouldn't even broken a sweat. It's just so hard to do a training session when you're so fit. It takes you an hour of hard training. Because like a 12-round fight's an hour. So an hour of fighting someone as hard as you can, them fighting you back. That's how fit you got to be. So an hour's jog isn't enough. It's not enough training. Like you've got to be training like high intense for long periods of time, resting correctly. I was lucky. Like I got good sponsorship, so I was like on a wage, like an average person's wage every week to train. So that was stopping me from having to really do a lot. I paid that wage to somebody else to work the shop, basically.
Yeah.
And
I hope it wasn't Palmer because he doesn't do much.
Nah, he doesn't do that much. But yeah, so that's what we did there. And then, I guess like it wouldn't have mattered at the time. Like you're just that driven to do something to get. You think you're going to go further and further, and I could have, but nothing's going to stop you. You'll do it for free if you had to when you go in places. But yeah.
So obviously now, like I reckon boxing's got a bit of a resurgence in the last. So there's a big fight coming up with obviously with Horn and Zoo. I mean, it's at super, but it's only a couple of kilos heavier than what you're fighting at welterweight. Are you sort of, in some respects, in hindsight, wish that you were around? Like for a long time, boxing was, and I suppose the UFC was a big part of that, where it was taking away a lot of the boxing. And now with obviously the heavyweights, I went and watched the heavyweights earlier this year with Tyron Fury, with Fury and them fighting, and it was packed. Like, and I hadn't seen that from the old days of the Jeff Fennick days. That's how when we used to watch it.
Yeah.
Are you sort of wishing you were, it was 10 years later and you were in the game now with this amount of height, with even just the Horn and the Zoo and all that sort of stuff? Because that's your weight. That's where you were fighting.
Yeah, there's definitely like different stages of eras where there's more possibilities for people, but every individual has a different route. Like there's really good boxers who get nowhere, not even as far, like nowhere near what I got, and there's terrible boxers who get a long way. Like everyone gets a different path. It's luck. It's a little bit luck of the draw with it, but those big domestic matchups like Horn and Zurin, like theirs might be all right, but there's not many of those where like they won't make a lot of money out of that. Neither of them, or Horn, and even when he fought Zarafa, they didn't want that fight because Australia's market is so small.
Yeah.
What every boxer wants is to fight an American, a high-ranked named American, or a UK fight. I would have got paid all my offers were like 50,000 US plus against all right guys in the UK. Like that's how much here. I had a fight which was one of the highest paid the highest paid fighters, other than probably like Horn or someone who's a pay-per-view name, and I got 20 grand. That was because they wanted my Commonwealth title, like a title that no one can get, no one has. Big title. They paid for me at the Star City's very first fight night they'd ever done in like 30 years. The casinos stopped doing them. They brung it back to Johnny Lewis fight night. They put all this money into it. 20 grand was the limit, like Australian dollars. That's like £10,000, like it's there's no money here.
And then saying that, who's going to win out of them two, you reckon?
I'd say Tim Zhu. I just think Horn's lost his keenness.
Once he's got that, we watched that Pacquiao fight, and once you, as you were saying, once you get to the top, it's hard to stay there, isn't it?
Unless you're getting, like when he got that Terence Crawford fight, or if he's getting another big fight and he can live for it, I know the feeling. Like if you're fighting a lower grade person, like Tim Zhu has everything to gain and nothing to lose against Jeff Horn. When Jeff fought Zarafa and when he fights Tim Zhu, he's the man who beat Manny Pacquiao. He's here, and he's fighting someone who's like Tim Zhu's last win was Jack Brubaker, who I knocked out. Like it's not like there's whole worlds apart. When he's risking everything. Jeff Horn's risking everything, and he did when he fought Zarafa too.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the fishing, mate. The fishing.
Well, before we do, I've actually got a designated question about your boxing from one of our audiences. Can I holler out to that?
Get in.
Yeah, because the other questions are all about like fishing and that sort of stuff for you, but there's a direct question about your boxing. So Lisa Craig wants to know, Kris, with fighting, you mention a lot of money. Is that the main reason, or why, or do you love it? Hold on, is that the main reason why you've done it? A lot. Oh, hold on. My God, Tracy, let's try again. Kris, fighting, you mentioned a lot of money. Is that the main reason why you've done a lot of fights, not because you love it?
Yeah, basically, when later in it, when you're fighting professional and the fights are getting really hard, you're doing it for the money. Yeah, 100%, mate.
But you still want to knock the shit out of some dude, don't you?
No one enjoys it. Like, really, you've got to have that super competitive and ego or something with you to keep you. That's why the younger guys, I reckon, are just so much, just got something there. But as you get older, you're more patient. You got other things that help you. But you lose that hunger pretty quick when you get older, eh? And you're mainly just doing it for the money.
Yeah. So, like, because I only know a couple of people that box sort of thing or do like martial arts sort of side of it. How many times have you been knocked out in your career?
No, never. I've been dropped twice.
What does that mean for anyone that doesn't know? Dropped.
So, like, I've been punched and like hit the ground.
And is that where they come over you and they count?
Yeah, they start counting you like one. They give you like an 8 count. The first one I only like just touched my knee and jumped up, and then the other one they're on like the one of them's on my page if you want to see like when I fought that New Zealand guy.
Yeah.
For the main event pay-per-view, New Zealand that guy. Yeah, in the first round he dropped me. But I knocked him out later, so I was right.
Got him back.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
What about? Let's talk about your fishing, mate. You're just not a bass fisherman, even though you're from Toowoomba, but you love all sorts. I mean, of some of the stuff I've seen with the offshore stuff, do you just love fishing, or you have a passion that's something that you really do love doing?
I'm like, same as like sports now, I'm like something where I get real hungry and like enthusiastic about something, and then once I've like done everything there is to do with it, I'm over it, I get sick of it. It's like, it's like with offshore was the same. Like I was so keen on offshore. I just wanted to go, and I'd drive to Gladstone every week, go offshore fishing, until I'd caught like black marlin, blue marlin, striped marlin, every fish on the reef, done all that. Then I'm like, I've done it all now, and then I just go move on to the next thing. It's really weird, eh?
So what's fishing mean to you now? I suppose you've got the boys. Is that something that, do you take them out and they're keen for it, or are they going to follow the boxing footsteps, or you don't want them doing it? How's that all going to work?
Well, with the fishing, that's about all I do now. We just go jig some yellows on some blades or something, like simple stuff. We're not like they like going fishing. We're going to get into it more as they get older. They're like 11 and 9, so they're like can do a bit, but we just go jig, and that's about all the fishing I do, other than like the odd cod trip at the moment. And that's just really based around me. Like that's our main hub at work, and that's sort of probably my main thing that I chase. But I don't know. I just let the kids do whatever they want to do. Really, like the younger fella's pretty aggressive. He's probably
he's been watching Dad.
He's going to do some sort of boxing one day, I'd say. But yeah, I don't know. It's not probably a sport I'd push him into. Any sport with like contact is no good. You just end up all sore and wrecked and broken parts.
Okay, so this is something that's then looking at this for them guys that are out there now, especially in the fishing game, which, I mean, you talked about it there. A lot of guys are out there chasing sponsors, trying to do the tournament thing. Here's a perfect opportunity. Here's a guy that was actually getting paid, not he will give you a pair of shorts. You're actually getting paid to do it. What advice have you got for those young fellas out there now, maybe looking at trying to do some sort of sponsorship, whether it's any sort of sport, whether it's fishing, whatever? I mean, you've been there, done that, and seen how it works.
That's the biggest question I get asked by up-and-coming athletes and stuff. Is the sponsorship deal? And I was always asking those questions too, because it's something you want to know. As for fishing, basically, it's not a big enough it's not big enough to be a sponsored angler. At the highest levels, like a View guys, AFC, all that stuff, you're not going to
Don't say too much. I've still got some. Don't give me any bad ideas.
There's not much of a way of making money and being a sponsored athlete. There's a lot of sports like, obviously like lawn bowls and certain things that there's not enough interest. Like boxing's one of the most popular sports in the world. Like I guess if you're in Queensland and New South Wales, if you're playing rugby league, you're probably a decent chance of making a living off it. A lot of other sports are a long way away. You've got to, I find like, and it's the same, like if someone comes for sponsorship for me, like anything. Honesty is the best policy. Like I would go to guys who own big businesses, got his money. I say, look, you're not going to get anything that much back out of it. I'm not going to go tell you. Don't go to people and say, oh, I'm going to make your business really big by sponsoring me. Like it's not going to. Yeah, business people are smart enough to know honesty. You know, you're like, look, this is where I'm at. This is my goal. I want to become this. Have a plan. Show them how fair income you are about achieving a goal. Then that person can help you in any way that might, you know, entice you. Whether it's money, whether it's like, okay, I'm going to pay you a week to do this. You know, to make sure you get to that stage.
I think you said something that probably resonated with why people wanted to help you out, and what I see in people want is, as far as your boxing goes, you had a passion for it. You didn't get into it, as you said, for the money. I think if people know that you're passionate about something and they can see that in you, then they will sort of want to come along and try and help you. Do you reckon that was the thing with you?
Yeah, I get. Yes, you got to like show that you're doing them for the right reasons. You know, like if you're just there chasing money, giving a half an effort, thinking you're going to be sponsored or whatever. And the more you talk about, like, hey, I want to be sponsored, the less people are likely to be with you. You know, you just got to, like, do your own thing. And probably the genius when it comes to it is Carl. He's probably the genius mastermind when it comes to gaining sponsorship. A couple of times he'd get a product that he liked, and he knew that there were a company that were in the industry or look at, and he'd start promoting it and using it and telling everyone about it on social media before they'd even contacted him, before he got anything out of him, like, you know, preempting the fact that I'll do the right thing by you and you might do the right thing by, and sometimes they did, sometimes didn't, but the guys who did see it and they weren't sponsoring him and they wanted to, they would come on heavy, you know, they'd be like, I've seen what you've been doing for us, like it's crazy, like for nothing, you know, like it's doing the right thing by people and trying to do, you know, the right thing by the business without trying to say, oh, I'm going to make your business really big. You're not going to do stuff all really. It's more, you know, they want to attach their name to a sports person or someone who's, you know, in the highlight a little bit, and they want that person to be representing themselves well, more so than the business.
So in saying that, now,
that's something. Can I go to that, Chris? Is that something you think that the sponsorship side of it has nothing to do with the person being sponsored helping the business? It's the business getting an opportunity with someone who does the right thing, who is honest, and then it's more so up to the business to how they capitalise on that and what they do with it, more than the person's responsibility to say, oh, I'm going to do this for you, and it never works out.
Yeah, that's how I did it. Like there is guys that are real proactive on helping that business work, but it depends what you're in, I guess. Like I just didn't have the time to be like pumping the social media and doing stuff for that. Like I was flat to the boys. I'm like, sponsor me how much you think you will, you can without and you know, and I'll have you there, and this is part of it. And you're just really, like, a lot of them like to be a part of a journey. Like as a business owner, you sponsor someone and they went from here and they go all the way up the ladder, and you're like, well, I helped that person. That's it's more a feel good thing for the business people.
Oh, definitely. Do you reckon doing all that stuff, even though, like, I suppose another side of doing all that stuff with the box, especially being Commonwealth champion, getting back to the business side, do you reckon that helped that business a lot in growing what it has done in Toowoomba, in that whole area, being that you're the face of it? In my business? Yeah. Oh, 100%, helped heaps. Yeah. And I guess, like, what people are always wary of is they don't trust someone. Like, they're coming into a business or they're buying online, if they got a face to the name, you know, like especially online or whatever, like they trust you. Like people can come in and, like, you know, I'll let people take stuff. Oh, fix me up next week. Like it's in this community. Like, yeah, people can know you. They just feel a little bit more trusting of you, and they'll shop with you a bit more fluently. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Trace, we got any questions coming in? Any comments?
Yeah, we do.
Right,
I knew you were going to do that as I was looking. Stuart Wilson's got a question more about the business for you, Kris. So just obviously doing startup businesses and coming into a new business quite some time ago, like what's the hardest thing that you found starting up a brand new business with setting expectations and that?
Lots of hard things. I guess whatever you're not good at, it'll be the hardest thing part of your business. So I'm pretty good at selling, talking to people, having the product knowledge, all that. So that was easy. I guess accounting, keeping my money in order, not overbuying with stock. Someone would order one lure and I'd go and buy 400 of the things and they'd be there for a whole year, And you did it for years.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
It took you a long time to learn. So that was my hard points. But other people might be really business minded.
Yeah.
They might buy a business with a model and they have it all set out and they run it really well. But when it comes to being in the store and having the knowledge and whatever, they are lacking. So I guess it's whatever you're comfortable with and what you're not. There's so many different parts of the business that there'll be one area that you're good at and another area that you're not good at, because it's not just one job. It's not just serving and selling. It's the whole works, that's the hard part.
Yeah. So this question might be to Motty and to Kris, depending on if you guys know about it. So Brad Robinson wants to know, apparently there is a new trend in America of fitting treble hooks to hard body lures using Kevlar or braid type line as opposed to using split rings. Have you ever heard of this, and do you guys have any thoughts on it?
Chris? I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah, look at that
Man,
smile.
The theory behind it is a little bit like what we used to do for the barra when we'd run twin split rings on a barra lure. But some of them guys are using them when they're fishing a lot of weed and stuff like that. So what it does is enable that treble to spin all the way round, where it does where a split ring will lock and actually rip it out of their mouths over there. Same as what happens with barra here. Sometimes, depends on how they're going, we'll run on a hard body, you'll run a double split ring. So that way, instead of it going 180 degrees and locking up and ripping it out, it can actually keep spinning around. The only downside of that with the split rings is that it does hang down, and you've got to be careful on what size the bait is, on how many, because you don't want the hooks to catch. And that's why a lot of them guys over there now, it's just a little secret that they do, is they'll run heavy braid, and that way they can still run it only the same size as the split ring, but it enables it to spin all the way around without pulling that hook out. So, yeah that's something that we in Australia I've been doing, but no one else is supposed to know about it. So good on you, mate.
There's another secret that's come out.
Oh, God, no, I might as well just give up chartering now. That's it, I'm done.
I know, right? I know. So I have another one. So I'm not sure whether this has got anything, Kris, to do with either fishing or if it's got to do with your fighting. But remember earlier I said I have like a little key question that I've got to ask from, I don't know if he's viewing tonight, but what happens when you take your shirt off at Party Cove in America?
Maddie Langford. I don't know the answer.
Oh, you don't know the answer?
He doesn't want to know the answer.
He did send me a lot of winky faces, and he was like, he's going to have a hoot over that one.
If I took my shirt off now, it'd be a different outcome. Let's just say that.
I do have actually a couple of questions, some with boxing and some with fishing. So Pete Wright has asked about the toughest fight that you had in your career. Like the toughest, because you said you had ups and downs, but overall a tough one.
Yeah, it wasn't a long fight like that. That one in New Zealand at Boa Morgan. And Boa Morgan now is 21 wins, 1 loss, and he's about to fight for a world title. So it was a like big changing point for me. And like I said, first round I was winning the round, but just at the end he caught me with a left hook and dropped me. But it was just the pace of the fight. Like, he was a shorter guy, really strong, and just like he threw a million punches. But like the commentators just said, don't know how these guys are going to go 8 rounds. Like, it was just hell for leather. And the second round, because he thought he had me hurt after dropping me in the first, just on me, like just intense fight. And luckily in the third round, thank God, knocked him out, because I don't know how he would have lasted the 8. It was pretty full on. But yeah, it was only 2.5 rounds, but it was the toughest.
Do you keep in contact with any of them guys? Now that you're out of that scene, do you still have guys that maybe household names of, you don't have to name drop or anything, but do you keep in contact with any of them guys and that sort of stuff that were in the scene?
Yeah, it's funny, like 2 of my better fights, like the first guy who I ever fought, who was a real high guy, knocked him out really badly, but he was actually like probably beating me up until I knocked him out. I'm really good friends with him now, speak a lot because we both talk about boxing. And only probably in the last few months, that Bowen Morgan guy, I talked to him a little bit here and there too. Just, really got nice guys, eh?
Yeah. Trace?
So this is from Barry Kelly. By the way, we're getting heaps and heaps of like great comments going that they love Fish and Bits. They think that you're doing all a great job with everything that's, with social media and that sort of thing. When we mentioned about you guys doing your online auctions and everything. So yeah, just feedback, I guess, from our Fishing Freshwater crew that are watching to say it's a really good job. But another Barry Kelly, about do you get much of an opportunity to chase bass, and where would be the favourite place in Australia to chase your bass if you were going to head off?
Bass is one of them things, you really want to fish them in a lake that you know, because as we know, like when they're school and all, if you know what they're doing in that lake, you can catch them. So like for me, obviously Somerset is my go-to place just because I've been going there my whole life, and you can just pull up on the same fish that were there 25 years ago and use the same lure that you use. And
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
I love Somerset. Of course, a monster bass there. And they're like, I've fished all the lakes, but just because you know it so well, it's a good lake. I like Wivenhoe too, just because they're my locals, obviously. Yeah. Bass is one of them lakes that you want to get good. I think this is for all fishing. When you pick a fish or a species, you've really got to target in on one. You can't. Everyone's like, I'm like, what are you targeting? What are you trying to fish? Oh, just anything. Well, you're probably not going to catch anything. It's hard enough when you put all your effort and energy into one species, even at maybe 1 or 3 lakes or whatever, to be able to nut them out, let alone if you're going to the coast and fishing for everything, you're not going to catch bream because you're going to be fishing too heavy, too fast, all this stuff. If you're fishing lighter, you've got to target species. I always tell people that, like, it's so hard to just go fishing. You've got to really target stuff. But bass especially, I think, you've really got to learn your lake. Go out, spend a day or two working it out, learn it first.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, a question from me. It's one that I like to find out from our special guests and that, because I like to travel around Australia, obviously, with my job. So I guess you've done a fair bit of fishing. You've done your sports fishing, game fishing, estuary, like all that. Have you got a fish or an area on a bucket list that after, say, for example, COVID is all, or something that you want to do in the future, you were like, because you talk about honing in on a special, like on a particular species, and we were talking about cod the other day. So have you got something on your bucket list where you're like, I need to go to this place and chase this sort of fish, and where would it be?
I don't really, like, for my whole life was like, I was always an inland person, but marlin was my dream. Like, marlin fishing was like the pinnacle for me, whereas like if I caught a marlin, I'd just be the best day of my life. After doing like 3 years of constant marlin fishing, I'd be happy never to go again.
It's hard work. It's bloody hard, man. It's hard, I'm telling you.
I've
gone to Exmouth a couple of times, and like Exmouth's meant to be the cream of doing it. One time I was really lucky to go out with Josh, one of the charter operators, who is like, you've been saying they're cleaning up, had an absolute shocker. The next time I went there, funnily enough, the conditions were just too good, like too clean, too smooth, and I was like, this marlin fishing's too hard sort of thing at the moment. But it's just, I'm just curious to whether... Obviously,
if I went with one, it'd be like a real big northern bluefin tuna. Like, I love the tuna species.
Yeah.
I love yellowfin. I've caught a fair few yellowfin, but I love to catch more. I love eating yellowfin. But I love to catch like a proper giant northern bluefin.
Yeah. I was in South Australia a few months ago and actually at a bluefin tournament. So I'd never seen a bluefin before. But they didn't make me eat it raw, and I nearly half vomited. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Mate, best way.
It was not my cup of tea at all. But to see and watch some of those guys, with the videos that they get about how they swim, to me it was like a brand new species. It was like they are beautiful fish to chase. I reckon as well.
All the tunas are good fun to catch.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm scrolling through that. I don't have a lot of the questions that we've already really answered coming through by the looks of it.
Chris, I'll ask Chris a question. UFC's taken off big time. Have you ever been tempted to have a crack?
I've been tempted, but I'm too old and unfit now. I think I do believe a lot of stand-up guys, like fighting style, boxing especially, go well in it. I think like a lot of the fights end up on their feet using their hands. And guys who have that boxing skill, but yeah, by the time I finished my boxing career and the injuries, I just didn't want to start again. But it was a thing I have thought about often. I do love UFC. I love watching it.
Yeah, so you follow the UFC. You still follow boxing and all that stuff.
Yeah, I follow both probably equally. You know, I follow the domestic boxing a lot more than I don't follow the domestic UFC fighting, because I think like we are starting to produce some good fighters out of Australia, but the whole domestic scene of the kickboxing UFC isn't the level that it should be just yet.
Yeah.
So I don't really follow that, but yeah.
So how's our domestic boxing scene going? Is it stronger than when you got out of it, or much the same?
It's been the same for a long time, like in comparison to the world. We always have a couple guys who are brink level fighters, but I don't know what it is. It's just like our discipline. I think Australia is too easy to live to produce real champions. You know what I mean? Like life's too easy here. That's why. Like Russia win. Like if you're from Uzbekistan or somewhere like Manny Pacquiao, you know, like that, you're fighting because your hunger is so much deeper. Where here, you just got temptations of McDonald's and anything like just at your beck and call. Like no one's poor and no one's fighting for their family. They're fighting for a bit of notoriety and a good bit of fun and maybe 10 grand check. You know, that's what they're fighting for. Where the other guys are fighting because they want to feed their kids and they want to like get out their family out of this terrible country. Yeah. That's what it comes to, because boxing's all mental. Like when you get up to it, like. That's why I did well in the professionals. I was not a good amateur boxer. But when it came to the mentality of it and like determination factor, my competitive side got me where I want to be, because losing was never an option.
Yeah. And mate, how much for an oil change and a grease and all that sort of stuff? Because you're back doing a bit of it now.
Yeah, I've been real busy with it. Like my old man owns a workshop and fellow works there, so I actually got a free run of a workshop basically, so I can just pump work through. I've been dibbling with it since I quit boxing, but since this has been on, this COVID thing, that's all I've been doing basically. I got a mate who's got a big mobile mechanic business, and he's shut down for a while because his kid's got asthma, or he's not, he doesn't want to be out there with COVID. So he's been pumping me work. I've been flat out. So
you still hate it?
Shit work. When you're working for yourself, it's all right. I used to hate like being yelled at all the time, told what to do. You know? I think that was the worst part. That's why I bought a business at 20. I couldn't be told what to do anymore.
I did the same thing.
I do have another question, which is actually something I'm curious as well. So it's a two-part, one-part answer for your boxing career and the other one coming into your fishing. It's from Pete Wright again. So inspirational people. So who have you looked up to and who's been inspirational to you on the boxing side, and then also who's the inspiration for you in your fishing?
That's a good question. Obviously, me and Carl have always we were both best man at each other's wedding, like in the last 6 months, and like we've been best friends. So overall, especially with the fishing, would be Carl.
Yeah.
The boxing's a weird one. It was just like bred into me. I think like me dad and his mates were all tough, and being tough and a good boxer and a good fighter was like the be all and end all for me, basically. So it was just, I don't know, just like bred into me to like want that really badly. I don't know if I ever sort of like gauged off anybody else. Just that was set in my mindset.
Yeah. Was your dad a boxer as well?
He had a few amateur fights and that. He was a bit of a pugger, so yeah.
Yeah.
So
you kind of grew up. Yeah, you grew up around the boxing sort of thing. So I guess you could say a base inspiration has been watching your dad, and then that was built into you.
See, my coach, he was like, when I first walked in at like 10 years old, my coach, he was like 30 and he was fighting too. So he used to train me and we used to both fight together. He had about 130 fights. And he was pretty good, and then he turned pro. He fought, so we always fought together, but he was like an older figure and also my trainer.
Yeah.
So he's trained me all the way through. So from 10 years old, like my first fight, me getting stopped, and being hopeless, through to like being at the UK and like having 20,000 screaming people and like on main event, So Craig was like pretty much my inspiration through boxing all the time. I've always followed up to him, looked up to him, and he sort of had a pretty hard life, hard upbringing. He was a hard sort of guy, so he was sort of my boxing mentor all the way through.
Yeah, I do have I think they might be cheeky questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway. So I'm not even sure if Carl is a boxer, but someone wants to know, in a boxing match, how would you go up against Carl?
Well, there is the running joke. When I fought for my Commonwealth title in Toowoomba, Carl had he had a corporate fight. He wanted to have a fight one day.
Yeah.
And so he won that fight. Like, it was a pretty good fight. He trained really hard. So the running joke in the family is the only undefeated fighter in our family is Carl. He's the only undefeated fighter. So going off the record, he might beat me. He's the only undefeated one, 1-0.
There's another one as well. I'm not too sure. It's like, here's a question for Kris. How do you flick a beer bottle lid? Laugh out loud.
Who wrote that?
That is Stuart Bishop.
Yeah, Stewie, he taught me where you put it in here like this.
Yeah.
Yep. See it fly out.
That's pretty cool.
That's all from the old drinking days.
Oh my goodness! No, that was
the competitions.
your party. What is it? Your party tricks.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much all my questions that I've got. Like, actually, sorry, there was one in your store. Do you sell Humminbird, Lowrance, or Garmin, or all three?
We have been selling Humminbird and Lowrance, but mainly just Humminbird now. Yeah,
and that's a preference for you, is it?
Yeah, obviously. I do believe that they're the best. We're getting a lot of talk about the Garmin stuff.
Yay!
The live scope's good. But yeah, I'm 100% believer that Humminbird has the best product in their basic side imaging, down imaging stuff. I think their picture's the best quality. Obviously, they go hand in hand with Minn Kota as well, which is hard to beat.
Oh, look at Mott's face.
Nearly as good as a Force, mate. Nearly as good as a Force.
I know you got your bloody Garmin electric motors now, but I don't know.
No, it's all right. We're not here to tell everyone how good we are. We're here to tell everyone how good you are.
Yeah, no, it's for me, it's
That's
been
never happened before in Matthew's life either. By the way,
Hey, I'm reframing. No, I've got to look after him. You boys will lose off me. I don't have to do it.
We're doing a smack special this weekend online too, so you better check that out.
Yeah, jump on there, mate. Only the best will do.
We got the online bidding auction happening at the moment on our website. You go to auction 24 at the top, and you can bid on all the packs. Like I said, we've got the ultimate smack pack up there. Got a heap of awesome packs doing the middle ride. So they start at $10. You can bid $1 increments. It goes off tomorrow. So they're all getting up there pretty high now, but we announce all the winners of them tomorrow. No, and then we're having a bit of an online special this weekend, try and get a bit of movement happening.
So do you reckon you'll stay in the tackle game for a fair bit longer yet? Is that something that you want to keep doing, or is it's just there and you never know what will happen?
That opinion changes day to day, Nelly. Yes. One day I said I'm fucking selling it. The next day I'm like, we're doing all this new stuff. It's all happening. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think the way we're going, it's getting to the stage where it's comfortable for me now. Like, I sort of own the business now. Like, it's running well. So I would say I'll be there for a fair bit longer. Unless someone offered me ridiculous money, I'll take it.
Yeah. What is it about Fish and Bits, do you think, mate, that's different from all the other tackle shops?
I don't know. Like, I guess you get biased in your own opinion. It's hard for me to have an opinion because I feel like
I think you're the best one to make that opinion, mate.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more like face to face. We do different stuff. We really target only our niche market. I'm not out there selling the brim guys, chubbies and stuff. I'm not out there like hunting that. So I'm just like cod, river, bass, our dams, our inland stuff. I think that was the best move I made, like really becoming, knowing your market and then hitting that market well, instead of having bits and pieces of everything, trying to be a one-stop. We're like the inland store. Like, this is what we're doing. We're just like the big bait guys we bring in. Every time I'm going to America, bring back heaps of cool different baits. I'll order like these crazy orders of Imakatsu, and it's probably stupid. Imakatsu, Little Jack, all these brands that like most of the people don't hear of, but they've got cool stuff, like really awesome stuff. So then they can come into our shop and go, what the hell is this? That's what, and some of it will sit there all year. It's awesome lures, expensive, but at least people can walk in a shop and have an experience of like, oh, I've seen 10 lures that I've never seen, and they probably will never see, That's what I like to have in the shop, is just some cool stuff, unique stuff, instead of just the run-of-the-mill, you have your rower, you have your orgies, and you have your stumpies, and you have, that's what you see in every store. I like to mix it up. It costs me more than it makes me, but it looks cool.
Are you still going to build a new shop?
Yeah, we're trying to build. That's right next door to my mechanic shop. So basically then I'm going to be working the mechanic, watching over the fishing shop, have them both running. Yeah. And my old man owns the block, so keeping the family.
Oh, cool.
So is that like a new announcement or something? I'm not unaware of this. Fishing Bit's moving.
We've been trying to build it for a long time.
For about 10 years.
The council have stopped us, but we'll have it done by the end of the year.
The end of the century, the end of the year?
The end of a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Definitely by the end of a year.
Yeah, one year, not real sure when.
Don't know what year. Yeah. It'll be done.
Yeah.
How are we going, Trace? Any more comments, questions, answers?
Not really. Like just favourite fish to chase. What is it at the moment? Because obviously you hone in on a particular species, but overall, what's going on with it?
Yeah, like if I was thinking right now, if I want to go fishing somewhere, I'd go river cod fishing. I'd go like Jamaica, McIntyre, Dumares, somewhere like that, and go top water fishing for cod. That's interesting me at the moment. I think the lures of what interested me most in that. Ever since the swim baiting thing come, like that's all I've been wanting to do. Because 90% of your day, or 99% of your day fishing is fishing. It's not catching. It's not really the species, but if you've got a nice bait caster, obviously bait casters is more fun to use. You're in a nice country where you got to be accurate and you're punching casts into trees. You're fishing lures that are like doing crazy action, and there may be surface lures or subsurface. I think the whole concept of cod fishing, swim baiting, top water, all that is more enjoyable. And most of your day is fishing for that fish. And it's not catching the species. You get one all well and good, but you got to enjoy the experience. So if I get a little flat bottom punt with a tinny with electric at the front and go and pump swim baits and top waters into the trees in the river, then I'm happy whether I'm catching them or not.
You'd have to be the most honest fisherman who exists in the world, mate, by the way.
You stuffed it up for everyone else.
But I go fishing.
I've never heard such an honest response. That is gold.
I appreciate
Good on you,
that.
Kris. Good on you, Kris.
Yeah.
So that's unless I go with the charter with Motty, then we just
smash the shit out of them.
Why?
I'm just going to go catch some fish.
Why must you go from honesty to lying? Why?
It was sarcasm.
Yeah, you got to have a bit going on. You got to have a bit of lying.
There's been heaps of thumbs up as well about your flicking of the stubby lid as well. People seem to have liked that. Probably one of the last questions. Hold on, I've got last question probably for you, Kris, is favourite jackal colour. So are you a fan of jackal?
Yeah.
He's not a fan of the price. Harry's a fan of him, put it that way.
Yeah, I like it.
I was just like, because I've had a few people mentioning about jackal, so I guess it's probably a dumb question, but I was curious to where it come from.
There's the colours I like, and it's probably the same for everyone, are the ones you can never get. The new squirrel colour inner that he brought out, INA, silver thing. Oh, beautiful. And spangle. I shouldn't be saying it because I think Mo Tackle or someone bought out Spangle as the squirrel or something, but Spangle in it's a cool colour. I like shiny, like the shiny silver, like bait fish looking lures. And there's not enough of them. There's so many black ones and like brown and all that. Just shiny silver, like for barra or something, and barra cod. Like clear water barra cod, like something that looks like a fish, my favourite colour would be I can't think of the name of it now.
You need to have shares in Jackal. Surely you can get into order more.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I do have another question for you. So first of all, I want to know who this person is. A Michael George?
Never heard of him.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a comment on there, Michael Linda George. Wants to know, does your mum own half the mechanic shop too?
Yeah.
They must have a joint account. I get my up on that one a bit.
Yeah, so it's either
My mum's blocked down there.
yeah, I think
So-
Mum might have some FOMO. We got to give a shout out to Mum. Early Happy Mother's Day. So another question's coming from Pete. Do you know by chance how Copton Dam is looking for the winter in the cod, for winter with cod? Has it had any water of late?
Won't make no difference.
Not at the moment.
The last I heard, it went from 3 to about 10%, which was a good little influx. It'll all depend on how much they let out. That's the biggest issue with Copton is it's like an irrigation lake or whatever it is. It's just always pumping. And like the cod don't like a dropping water level. Well, not that they don't like it. I believe that they go deep. And it's so much harder to fish for a fish that takes 30 casts at the catch. When they're in 10 metres of water, they're so much harder to catch than when they're up on the edge. You want a level water level with the weed growing and they're up with the bait fish are. You need a stable water level. So, I mean, you can't predict nothing with fishing because I've said, this winter's going to be great and it's shit. And then I say, this winter's going to be shit and it's great. But it all depends on how consistent the water level stays for Copton and whether they're dropping out or letting in. But I would assume it'll be good because there's going to have a big spell. Like everyone's been flogging it. It's going to have a big spell.
Yeah.
That itself's going to help. It's not going to get let out major water level because it's not that high in percentage. When it went up to 50, they were just pumping it. Up to 10 is a good amount where 10% is probably where it fishes its best, I think. They don't let lots out. We have no one fishing it for 4 months or 5 months. Like there's no reason why it wouldn't fish the best it's ever fished.
Yeah, definitely. Where we at, Trace? Is that it? Is everyone's poor old Chris is running out of bloody answers here?
I know. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it on the Chris side for asking questions for him. There is a couple of questions directed for you, Motty, but
ask away. Chris might be able to answer them for
yeah,
you.
might be able to. Oh, actually, hold on. I've got another one. So Barry wants to know. Sorry, deleted Motty. Chris? How long are you planning to continue your online auctions for? 24 is a great opportunity for a lot of fish shows.
Basically, my plan with that is to go continue on doing what we've just done, the online one where you go. It's got its own separate page. We put up different once a month or whatever we do. Put up 20 different packs each month, and we're going to try and get some really unique stuff in those packs, and that's what people start to bid on. You get a unique lure that's a one-off and some cool packs on there. People go on and you can bid. Starting at $10, you get yourself a great deal. So each month is an opportunity for either you to get a great deal or bid on some lures that are unique and different, cool. And, when we do this and, people like Motty and that, they see it, they can do us up some unique packs. It's cool, and that's what's happened. We've had, Gidgee and other lure makers, they're like, I'll do you a one-off for your auction, and that's great. So we're going to keep doing those packs once a month. You're going to have a 3-day window to bid and buy, and then I'll just do some live giveaways with them as well. The live stuff was good, but it's a little hard with the streaming, and obviously you guys know what it's like for computers. So that's how
Don't have Tracy run it for you.
Oh my god! You heard a lot of F-bombs last night, didn't you?
Yeah, it was.
How did you come up with the auction idea, Chris? I want to know that. I reckon it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
I wish I would have thought of it.
Basically, see, my old man's got a dealer's license, so we start looking.
What sort of dealer's license? We talking legit shit or bad shit?
We're not very rich. It's just cars.
Right.
Anyway, so we just look at I like going to the auctions. You can bid on them, and you buy stuff. And obviously Lloyd's auctions, Manhunts, all these car ones have the same sort of process. You can bid online when they go live. When they're bidding in the actual auction arena, they have an online bid, so you can bid online. So I'm sitting at home bidding on cars and whatnot. I'm like, I love it. It's fun. And you end up paying too much all the time.
So it's a money thing.
Right, now I know.
Remember, like, we started nearly 2 years ago, and the first auction just went silly. We had like 600 people on, and I'd say the retail price of this is $80. The first bid would be like 120. Like, everything was going just crazy. I had to bring it into a format that didn't go so much because I was looking like a rip-off. Because everyone's like, you're ripping everyone off because they're spending like ridiculous amounts of money because they're so like everyone. This is what auctions do to people, and I'm the biggest one for it. It's like an ego-driven or like it's a competition. If you're a competitive person, you're like, I want to win, you know. Like so it works hand in hand.
Totally get that. I steer clear of auctions because I'll be like, I see something, I'm like, I want that, and then I'll be like, this is my limit, and I'm like, nah, $200 more. I've got 200 spare. I can do this sort of thing. So terrible.
Half an hour's work.
TraceFishingBits.com.
Yeah,
that's what you need to be.
Actually, before we ask another question, I just want to mention, Kris jumped on board with obviously this year was going to be the Dirty Six, which the first one was sensational.
Yeah.
Mate, you thought that was an awesome idea, the stuff that we come up with Fish and Freshwater with that 36 concept. It did drive a lot of people into the shop.
Well, you know what? Like, I think anything going online or app is a great idea.
Oh.
It's not going to get the deserved traction yet. It's too early. Not at the moment. A lot of people know how to use apps in a way. But a lot still a bit frustrated with it. In the next 5-10 years, I could see it getting easier and it becoming so much more of a common thing for people. But the fishing comp thing, it's basically not big enough to be organising an event and getting 50 boats there. Fishing comps should be run online. I think that's the future of it. That's the way it should go.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see them like get into bigger events where like a proper comp of invitational onlys that are online, and they have a format where it does that, but it needs to start here. This is where it's going to start, and you can do family fun ones all across Australia, and they all compete against each other, and you can have a big tally with. But the technology is not there in it yet. Like, we're starting it, you're starting it from Kingaroy, where the technology needs to grow and grow. It'll work.
Got to start somewhere,
technology in Kingaroy. No one's going to start technology in Kingaroy.
Hey, don't you say too much, Uncle Butcher boy.
It's better than Kingaroy for technology.
Oh, I don't know about that. Look at the figures, mate. I'm surprised your house is still there.
It ain't. It's gone.
Alrighty, so we'll rip into this one. So we've got another question for anyone to answer. Using swim baits for bass. Thoughts on that?
What's it like, as in jointed swim baits?
It don't go specific. It's just swim baits.
Well, yeah. Look, Kris will tell you this. Anything will work on a certain day. That's the only problem with social media. There are lures that you could throw out. You could catch a bass on a 10-inch swim bait. I'm not saying you could catch many, but you would catch one. But you might have to throw it 4 billion times for it to happen. But you put that one photo up, and all of a sudden it's the in thing. So look, these fish that we fish for in Australia, we're so lucky, and to say with the cod and all that sort of stuff, we're so lucky to have the fish with. Those lures will work on anything. You've just got to be. One thing that probably the Yanks do that we don't is they'll have Pacific where they don't care if they go out and throw that swim bait all day and only get one fish on it. We sort of lack that little bit of patience at the moment. We'll throw it for 3 minutes and go, no, I'm going to throw something else because I know it's going to work. That's where we'll get into that. But yeah, those lures will catch bass for sure.
Yeah. No, cool.
Kris, where do you sit with that lure idea? Like, there's multiple of different lures for different species, and your shop, if any, for the freshwater in Australia has got to be one of the best. How do you find that different style of lure for a different species gets the angler in to buy it? Like, do you have many people who come in looking for a different lure versus what every Joe Blow is using, just so they've got something different?
Yeah, like, I think the range of lures is just for people to look at, and you get people in who want to get something different or whatever, but the majority of fish are caught by a very few amount, like different lures basically. There's the ones that just work, and basically, if you go yellow belly fishing, you take a ZX40 Dark Knight, it won't get outfished. You know, like we sell like these crazy looking things, look like a mouse or whatever, and they do work. Like Motty was exactly right. Like no matter what lure you fish, and that's big for me to say. Motty was right, but
You'll regret that.
You'll come back, mate. You're all right.
You'll regret it.
You'll catch a fish on it. Like it's just how long it's going to take you, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's probably 3 lures you could catch every species with, and you wouldn't need to throw any others, you know.
Oh wow, what are those 3 lures?
You have to buy more and find out.
Hey, don't tell them that, man. No, it's all I'll buy. You'll be all broke.
Monty,
What
got a
you need to do is
question.
order 400 of each of them, mate, and advertise which
Yeah.
ones they are.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, Trace.
Yeah, so I want to know, are we doing a smack live on Saturday by chance?
I haven't even thought of it yet. Have
No.
we? You're asking me questions. I haven't.
I know.
We were looking at maybe doing something. I thought it was next week, not this week.
Oh, okay, cool, radio. I just thought.
We're looking at doing maybe one. I'm not sure whether I'll do one on ice jigs like we did with the spinnerbaits or blades.
Blades.
Here we
Ice
go.
jigs.
Both of them are very popular this time of year. So it's basically just letting people know about them. Kris sells a lot of them in his shop. We've got our new fire blades, which are a little bit different. One we modified ourselves, and obviously the ice jigs we developed them a long time ago, and we sell them all over the place. So you know,
Okay.
there's a couple of little techniques maybe we might do that, and it's just not our brand. That's blades in general or ice jigs in general. Really.
Yeah. No,
We'll
I was curious because I'm trying to plan my weekend, so I thought if I threw the question out for you right now, I could actually, you'd be like, oh, and then I could have a weekend.
Ice jigs, because everyone can practice at home in their freezer.
What?
In their freezer.
In their
You
freezer?
can practice in their pool.
And the ice jigs, you use them in ice.
Oh yeah, okay, good
Oh,
on you.
wow.
Good on you. Well, that was pretty cool there, Andrew. Right, so we're on to, we're going to get on to our, we better keep going here, guys.
Yep.
We need to get on to the Back to the Future comp. That's
All right,
you two.
so
Me and Kris can sit back now. That's you two can dribble on now.
yeah, that's cool. So what we've got to roll out for the rest of it is we've got Back to the Future. We've got to announce those winners. We've also got to announce we've actually got 2 randomizers coming through. So the first randomizer will be for the Great Northern. So last week, Mark Atkins won that. And whose was his was Bottle Mark Chinchilla, I think, off the top of my head.
I think that's what it was.
So
Yeah.
we'll pick from my randomizer, which I absolutely love. We'll choose a new person. And also we have Salty Gear Fishing Apparel, which is one of the guys that I support heavily. They've come on board and they've offered to this week to give away a free shirt to my choosing of randomizer through my app. So
Well done. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Salty Fishing.
Salty
Still
Gear.
haven't got our free shirts yet. What's going on?
Monty, I don't know how many times I've asked you for your size. I don't know. You hung up on me today.
Extra old.
You can all go and get.
Nah, you hung up on me today when I asked you the key question. So Mandy and Simon, I know you're watching at the moment. I have tried my hardest in the week. So
We'll sort something out. in the
Andrew,
future.
I've got the winners.
Mark Atkins
Yeah.
got his carton from the bottler at the Queensland Hotel in Chinchilla.
Oh, well done.
Cool. So what have you got to say, Andrew, about that? Because all I've got is the winners for Back to the Future.
For Back to the Future.
Yeah, this is you. Go.
Well, you've got all of the winners, so
Yeah.
that's good there.
Well, how much? Okay, so what have we got? We've got 3 categories, which is saltwater, freshwater, and scenic. How much?
Yep.
And it was a $5 entry, and we said we'll give the cash back. So how much are we giving away to every entry to win?
There was 25 paid entries, so that makes 140 odd bucks. I think we said we were going to do $45 for each category would be the winner. So
Excellent. And are we giving away the Garmin Sounder as well?
we've got a Garmin Sounder to give away. Matthew, you can do that one.
You've got it.
I reckon Kris should do that one, and he should change.
Yeah,
his
so we can do trade-ins at the shop too to get yourself a nice hummingbird.
Yeah, no, you could if you want. Yeah. You could do that. No, that'd be no dramas, and probably go out there and you can see trees. You can't catch anything from them, but you can see them. That's
Oh
good.
my
Side
goodness.
scan,
We're just out there
1940
to have a fish
technology.
and have fun anyway, you know. We're not there
No,
to
we
catch
have to do that. Well, you know what we should do.
What?
We should do well. Actually, when we can open up again, when this COVID thing's finished,
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot in the States. we're going to have a fish off. It'll be the 2 tackle shops versus each other. Chris, me in the same
Chris,
boat.
I'll be on your team.
Half an hour, we'll cover half a day in the front, half a day in the back, and we'll have a bit of a fish off and we'll have a bit of fun with it. What do you reckon? That sounds
I'm keen.
Yeah.
And then after that,
do you realise, mate, that means an hour on the boat with Matthew?
Oh, we're in the same boat. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you, mate. That's because I've got fusion stereo, so we'll be able to turn that up so I can't hear you.
Oh my
It'll be
goodness.
fusion,
It'll be at Boom Doom, but they'll have them all tethered up.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm not going in unless I can win it. That's for sure.
Every single fish in there has been let go out of Matthew's fish tank at some stage.
We'll go to Crestbrook. Probably go there and catch either 300 or none.
Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to get into this. So we got saltwater winner coming first up. So this winner, they got 84 votes overall. So the photo was the cutest photo, and it was of Addie stoked with her first legal brim on the troll, and she had the biggest smile. And the winner of that one there was Stuart Wilson.
Oh, Stewie Wilson.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. What does he win? Wins
$45.
$45.
Yeah, so
Sweet.
any of the winners that announce, message us on Facebook. Andrew will get in contact once you message us. Andrew
No, he won't.
Yeah,
He will. Just don't expect a response in 10 seconds.
No, it's not like
message him right about 12:30.
It'll be
what Matthew does.
It's not like Tracy, who's always connected. So
That's a week's work for me and Motty at the moment.
Yeah, I'm telling you, $45. I'm thinking about mate. If you want to, you can spend half with Chris and half with us. We'll be right then. We'll be
definitely
for another week.
So then we move on to our freshwater winner. Our freshwater winner got 108 votes.
Shit.
Yeah. And this was another little girl. Well, she's not so little anymore. She's growing, obviously. She was out fishing in the most cutest little girly dress, land-based, and she caught this massive bass. So when you look at her compared to the bass, it just absolutely proportions so cute. And that was actually Chloe Craig, which is Lisa's daughter.
Oh, there you go.
For a freshwater. Can I do a double or nothing?
What?
Lisa Craig and Chloe Craig.
Yeah.
You can have $45 cash or a $90 gift voucher at Fishing Bits.
Oh, this is why I'm freaking broke all the time. You're giving all this shit away.
All right, so
Matthew's going to pay for this one. Matthew's going to pay for this one.
That's proudly donated by Kris George. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
So we've got Lisa, I know, is online. So Lisa, I do need you to comment. So you can take your 45 cash, which will be deposited into your bank account, or you can take a $90 gift voucher, which you can spend with Chris through Fish and Bits. So pop your comment down there and we'll definitely organise that.
Yeah, buy some golden childs. Heaps of them there.
You do gift vouchers, Chris?
Yeah.
You do? Sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
They can go and bid on something in the auction and use their gift voucher to pay for it. It'd be perfect.
Oh, there you go.
Get themselves a buck. Go and buy the ultimate smack pack off the auction 24.
Mate, you won't get it for 90. You won't get it for $90. It'll be 900.
Yeah, that many put people. Put it towards.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
No, I'm all over that. Don't do it.
Oh my God! So we've got the cereal back on actually. So Tommy Griffiths is on.
Hey, Tommy! How's the backpackers going, Tommy? Ask him.
I'm sure he would have heard that. So he reckons if Motty's paying, he's in, of course. So let's move.
In. He pissed off out of the countryside and doesn't even come back.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know where he is.
Don't tell him not to come back. He's good. We're right where he is. I don't get as much trouble with him being up there.
No way. I've got a dented cup from losing a competition to him. I need to win another competition so I can buy another cup.
He's just dirty because all the backpackers have left. They've all been sent back. God knows what he's doing up there now. There's a lot of goats and cows.
There's a lot of buffaloes.
There's
where
a lot
he
of
is.
buffaloes.
I see a lot of Snapchat of him with buffaloes.
Yeah, I would believe it too.
I know. I'm pretty sure they all shaved their heads the other night as well. So, crazy boys. So back to, I do have a comment from Lisa. So she asked Chloe, her daughter, and Chloe would like the voucher so they can support Fish and Bits, please.
Very well done. Congratulations. That's the way.
Guys.
Yeah, no.
Alrighty, so now we're on to the last one, which is the scenic winner. So the scenic winner got 39 votes, and this was a picture of a young guy, and he was with his sister out fishing in a tinny together. So they weren't both, they're not adults, they're both kids going fishing sort of thing, and that goes to Jai Trelaw.
Well done, Jai. Awesome. Thanks for everyone for going in it. It's great. So they win $45 each. Pretty cool. We might do one in another month or so time. We'll just see what happens with all this stuff that's going on.
See how we
So
roll.
those winners, Trace, just send us a message on the Facebook page and
Yes,
we'll
please.
chase them up from there. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you got that sounder there, Andrew?
The Garmin one.
Yeah.
If everybody pauses for a minute, 14 seconds, I'll run to the garage, cut a box open and pull one of them out.
No, it's all right.
Alrighty, so what we're going to do is, so for this one here,
Randomiser.
so tell me about the sounder while I'm getting the randomizer all up.
It's nearly as good as the hummingbird, is it, Matthew, or is it better?
I'm not even getting involved in this conversation because I'll have 500 friggin' hummingbird clowns abusing me on Facebook. How dare I mention that their brand isn't the best? Look, mate, all sounders are good. I had conversations today where we sold a few today. Every brand is like cars. It's like anything. Every brand is good nowadays. There's no dodgy. Except Lawrence, yeah. One thing we can both admit, Lawrence are absolute puss. Right? Hummingbird are good, Lawrence a pass. Kris will say that. He was that bad, he couldn't even sell them. He just left them out the front and hoped the mail would pick them up. That's how bad they were.
Glasses when I was using Lawrence.
Yeah, that's it. See? Yeah, that's
I
it.
heard a story the other day. The mapping on Lawrence is really good. They lead you to a shop that sells hummingbird or garment.
That's about right too when you can get it to turn on and work. But anyway,
Mott, he doesn't need glasses. He's just looking at his Garmin all the time.
well, mate, that's probably true because the detail's so good on it. You need to make sure you don't miss one thing when the fish are winking at you. That's why.
It could be. Yeah. He tells me he's got a projector on his bloody boat now, 125-inch at the front of the boat.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I wanted to put one of the big ones up. They're like $30,000, and they just went no. And I thought that'd be a pretty cool thing just to imagine turning up to a bass comp and you got this 52-inch screen sitting on the side of your boat. I wouldn't be able to go very fast, but it would look pretty funny.
I'll be able to get my Xbox on that.
Yeah, mate, you can run Xbox on everything on ours, mate. You can watch YouTube, you can watch other stuff on it that I'm not going to mention right now.
No, okay, so let's go to the randomizer to win the Garmin. So what I've done with this randomizer, so usually what I do on the spreadsheet, I have first entry to last entry as you've entered through. I've actually made it backwards. So what I've gone and done is, so the last order entries are up the top to the bottom, and my randomizer has chosen number 3, which I will hopefully, let's go, nope, this way.
Other way, that's it.
Oh, I don't even know if you can see. You see the reflection, number 3. So the third last person that I've got entered into the competition that wins this is actually Simon Trelaw.
Well done, Simon, mate. You've won yourself probably one of the best things you've ever won in your life, and that's a Garmin sounder. Your whole world, if it's like me, your whole world from this day will now change. People will look up to you like they've never looked up to you before. You'll probably actually want to put it in and watch Netflix and all that sort of stuff on it because the clarity is so good. I hope Jason Brown's listening to this because
you can tune into Matthew Mott's Max Fishing updates on your Garmin sounder.
Oh, you can, mate. You can get a notification. Ding, Motty's talking shit again. Ding.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Garmin just lost a lot of money in shares.
Just run.
Matthew's talking on Garmin sounders. They're out. They're gone. They're all on eBay.
Oh.
That's all right, mate.
So what we're going to move on to next is going to be support your local. So
that's the one, mate.
So we've got support your local, and then we've got the salty gear after that one. So we've got support your local. So what you do is from this one, just by putting a comment on there tonight, I just scroll through and just choose one on that side. And what we get you to do is give us a contact details about who your local pub is in your area, and Andrew will go and organise for you to pick up a carton of Great Northern as well. So that's supporting that one. So I'm just waiting for this to load. So the person that I've got winning tonight is Daniel Thalaw, and looks like Dan is from, how do I say it, Taros Head in New South Wales.
Ross said he's got an ugly head
Ross?
by the sounds of that.
Is that how I say it? Ross?
Oh, Queenslander versus New South
Yeah,
Wales.
good on
New
you.
South Walesman, anyway.
Yeah, good on him, mate. He won't know what a Great Northern, mate. Once he gets that, it sinks a couple of them. No more Tuies ever again. They'll be gone.
Once he sings a few of them, he'll think Garmin looks better than Hummingbird. Right?
That's all right. Keep doing. Yep. No, that's good. No, loving it.
So that was Daniel the Law from Taros Head. So I'm not too sure where Taros Head is. Do you guys know where that is in Australia?
Oh,
New South Wales.
it's not near Kingaroy.
Daniel shots with us. I've seen his name a few times on our online store and that.
Oh,
So
awesome.
you don't know where he lives then, Chris?
Nah,
Oh, so you just take their money and don't really care about him? Is that what you're saying?
I challenge you, Matthew, to find me a tackle shop owner who knows the name of someone who's shopped online with their shop.
Hey, I can tell you every one of them because there's been one.
Name them right now. Start now.
Oh my God, we'll be here
Andrew
forever.
Mitchell. He bought 2 lures off me about 6 months ago. Since then, bloody virus has come and stuffed everything up.
Yeah, right. COVID's brought a few, you reckon?
No, COVID hasn't bought anything off me, actually. He hasn't done nothing much at all.
No.
So,
I wish he could.
oh my goodness, boys. So, what we're going to do now is the last one, which is our Salty Gear shirt. So, what we'll get you to do is if you're the winner of the Salty Gear shirt, I'll need you to message Salty Gear Fishing Apparel, and they can organise you to be sent out a shirt as well. So, the winner for that, I've actually, this time, because Mother's Day is coming up, I've actually chosen a lady, especially for Mother's Day as well. So the lady that...
So it's not so random.
Yeah, it's not random.
It is, because there's a few ladies that wrote their stuff on there, so it is random.
So random Tracy picked a random lady.
Don't stuff it up like you do everything else. Don't stuff it up.
Well,
And the winner is Screen Goes Black.
The screen goes black.
I know,
The winner is
don't say that because it could
Garmin.
happen.
Oh, no, that's not the right person.
Oh my gosh, do not do that, do that. No, I just thought it'd be nice for Mother's Day, like to get a shirt. Next week
Kris George is a man too, by the way. You can't think he's a girl.
Oh.
Because you go, and the winner is Kris George. He keeps coming up here a lot. I'll pick him. Oh no, sorry.
No, I've got a friend that spells it the same way, so I know that's a boy. And
Hey,
also,
Trace, save my ass here. When's Mother's Day?
you gotta be kidding me. I will
Yeah, when
slap
is it?
you. I hope your wife slaps you. So it is
not
in
He's open too. That's
It's
why if
after
you
8:30. She's
that's-
asleep. That's
yeah,
why
that's
I'm asking now.
why he's
well, I'll
open
have to
because if you give a
message her.
message about 12 o'clock tonight, look out.
I'll message
Save,
Nat.
save every bloke who's watching. When's Mother's Day?
It
Send out a
is.
reminder.
I will give you the specific date to be 100%
Oh, so
sure.
you don't even know.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh,
10th.
she's full of it.
I
Plays
am
all
not
nice and
full of
stuff.
it. It's the 10th of May. So Mother's
There you
Day
go.
is the 10th of
Is that
May.
10th of May this year or next year?
Well, 2020 is written off, so
Oh, it's not this year?
The 10th of May.
10th of May.
That'll be a Sunday for sure, yeah?
100%.
Yeah, I hope
That's
so.
why I just had to check it to make sure I got it right. Anyway,
Right, keep going.
back to the lady that wins this one here. So this is one of our first comments that come through, and it goes to Beck Bracken.
Well done, Beck.
And I'm just
Congratulations.
trying to see where Beck is from. I want to say
Mother's
Queensland.
It's worth, I guess.
It's worth.
Beck Bracken. So I don't get that.
It's a guess.
Totally. Oh, hold on.
Go on there. That's a good one, though.
Yeah, no.
Apparently, I've got it wrong. Like Lisa's says it's the 9th of May. I thought it was.
Oh, see?
I thought
One
Mother's
job,
Day
you
is on
stuffed it up again.
Nah.
There you go.
I
Trace, I'm
thought.
on your page. I just checked the calendar. Set myself a reminder like every other person should have just done for
No,
Mother's
but
Day.
the thing is, the 9th of May is a
It's the 10th.
Saturday.
No,
It can't be
the
the
10th.
night.
No,
It's the 10th.
Di, I'm
10th.
not a mum. All I've got is a cat called Moose. So I don't really know. But anyway, yeah, but I'm sure it's the 10th of May because it's a Sunday, right? It's the
The
second
10th
week.
of May.
Second weekend
Done.
of May. Yeah, right. So anyway, Beck Beck is from Townsville. So
Oh, hey?
Yeah.
Millions
North.
of followers.
Yeah.
Millions of followers.
Going up
All over
north
the
on that
country.
one there. So Beck, Salty Gear has put a little comment on there. So if you can message them and they can organise you a shirt. For the guys that have won anything this week, we would love for you guys to send your photos in whenever you can. So then we can support the guys by tagging them in there and show us, what you guys are getting and that sort of stuff. No, is there a winner,
Okay,
Mum?
let's wrap this up.
Oh.
Once again, we are out of here. Thank you very much, Kris, for coming on tonight, mate. It's a great show. Really appreciate it. Applause, a little team. Yay! Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. So next Wednesday, we will be back on. Now, there might be a time change. We just got to see with all this stuff that's going on. 7 o'clock might be a time which is really, really busy. So that's why we moved to 7:30. And next week we have a special guest. We have Jason Ehrlich. So Jace is a great cod, barra, bass fisherman, has hot bite lures, which we all use. So he's coming on the show. He's really looking forward to it. And that should be a great chat. So just remember next week on the Wednesday night, we'll have Jason Ehrlich. Anyway, from us, from the three Amigos and Kris George, thank you, everyone.
Can we do a proper support your local?
Well, that's your job.
Yep. Well, I'm going to do a proper support your local. Kris, your shop's still open, yeah?
Yeah.
Still online?
Yep.
Everybody who wants something can buy something from you, can't they? Jump on and support your local tackle shop, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Support you. Fish and Bits Toowoomba. What is that? fishandbits.com.au?
Yeah.
We can do a comment up and tag them all in there if you want.
We'll do all of that too. But, guys, jump on board. These guys jump on, support you, provide some detail, provide some information. And as Kris has said many, many times throughout the evening tonight, it's honest information. I had quite a large issue when I owned a tackle shop with Fish and Bits because they were so good at what they did. I wanted to copy what they did.
You said it was me. Now you're sucking up to him.
Yeah.
You said it was Master Barra. You lied. Get off.
Burn you. No.
Anyway, guys, we are done. Thank you, everyone. This weekend on Saturday is Anzac Day. Please, even though we can't march, please remember for our soldiers that have been out there and made this country the great country. As Kris said, we have it too good, and it wasn't for them guys, we wouldn't have that. I've got a brother of mine who was in the Air Force for 25 years, so it means a lot to us. Anyway, guys,
in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Every one of my neighbours, enjoy the last post at 5 o'clock. It's going to be fucking
we will
loud.
see you. Thank you, everyone, and we'll catch you next week from the three Amigos.
Boys, stay online. I'm exiting, but you boys stay online, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.
See you
guys
guys.
all. Thanks.